the day that I get sentenced, but they took me to prison the 12th of July and the Wednesday. So when I just get sentenced by the Home Circuit Court, they carry me go to Central Police Station. That is where they keep me until when the Wednesday come, when the documents ready, then them carry me go to Spanish Town Metro.
So,
yes.
In the year 2000,
Yeah.
you were sentenced to death in, where you say, life imprisonment or death row?
No, death sentence. Death row I was on. Death row I was on. Every warder, every majority Jamaican know about this case. Yeah, I was sentenced to death row, on death row, at the age of teen.
In your teen, at 18 years old,
Yeah, I was
you were working at KPH
Yes, as a porter.
as a porter.
Working
Between-
with a company named Lamasa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, working with a company named Lamasa, and they picked me up and charged me.
So you were on the road and the police just pick you up and charge you and say, you commit the crime.
Yes, they said me.
So you're saying the police never do no forensic and say you not have no gun or nothing? Did you have previous history with the police?
No, and never yet. And when him take me into custody, I was even saying to them, so why you don't come and check my house? Why you don't? Them don't swab me hand. Them don't check my house. Them don't do nothing at all. So that means that simple show you, because if
so them just, what you say them just take you up off of the road and just charge you as the person commit the crime?
that commit the crime that occurred the same night. But what I'm saying, if you take me up off the road, you're supposed to swab my hands, because gunpowder residue must be on my hand, or check my home, something. Because I tell you that I work at the Kingston Public Hospital. I gave you my address, I gave you everything about me, I gave you all the information about me, and you still went on with the case and you charged me for the murder on the 18th of May now.
So on what basis did they charge you for murder though?
Alright. It was alleged that a lady named Miss Claudette Noel, she lives on Lower Ivy Road where me live. I did have a girlfriend by the name of Debbie that time. The policeman used this lady to come and say she hear when them couldn't say them saw me, because she know she never see me do nothing. So the policeman used her to come and say them a bill a case, so them come and tell her that come to court and say you hear when, but true them never know say hear when evidence cannot work a privy council. So when to find out their hearing evidence, so the policeman inspector gave her.
Yeah, wait no man. Ma ask you how them come by if it says you.
How them come by to say it's me? Well,
Yeah.
Well, what really happened then? Them say a youth named Dean like me, he have the same name, is Dean killed the man, but my name was Shabadin. So them say it was a youth named Dean that killed the man. So somehow, through probably him named Dean, the person that them say commit the crime, and me named Shabadin is my right name. So that is how them the entangle with the names then get mixed up.
No, sir.
Yeah.
So in 2000 now, you say you were prosecuted.
Yeah, I was prosecuted by the Home Circuit Court, Court 1, in front of Judge Wesley James, and the prosecutor was Miss Paula Llewellyn now that turned the DPP.
So after you got prosecuted, what happened after that? How many years you were in the prison?
In prison, I served 12 years, 5 days in prison.
12 years, 5 days.
12 years, fully straight calendar year, 5 days before I come out back. So when I went in there, year 2, while I was in custody from 1999, I didn't get to come back around until 2011, the 20th of May.
So how did you get to come out of prison? What?
Like what I do to come out. Alright, what I do to come out now. While on death row, you cannot make 14-day pass. So during the 14 day, I appealed to the Court of Appeal, out here in Jamaica. It's tried by a panel of judges, Judge Makala, Seymour Panton, a couple other judges, and it was supposed to try like a case where it normally takes 5 days. They were looking through my case for 4 years and a half. So while appealing to the Court of Appeal out here, them were supposed to look through this case 5 days, and it took them 4 years and a half. And when I was in the prison death row, they sent back a letter to me. They called me by the superintendent office upstairs, and when they sent back the letter, they eventually end up now. While I sent back the letter, they were telling me that I lose up my appeal. So while losing out my appeal to the local court of appeal, that is when I appealed to the Privy Council.
So how it reached to the Privy Council?
Alright, how it reached to the Privy Council now. Before it reached to the Privy Council, the Court of Appeal, the local Court of Appeal out here would have to dismiss it. And then I write to a lady named Miss Juliet Ori, solicitor law firm. So I stay from prison where I was and write to Miss Juliet Ori. She's a solicitor law firm in England. And she put a lawyer on it named Mr. Stephen Leslie. And while Mr. Stephen Leslie were on it, I were writing out the grounds, certain points, like through me there prison a good little time. I put 2 and 2 together, some points, some grounds, and me think to myself, me could have give myself a more fair trial, but that's true. The prosecutor now, the problem we need it up now with Miss Paula Llewellyn now, she were forcing me to plead guilty, and I said, "No, plead guilty," and she said to me, "I can get 12 years before parole," and I tell her, "No." So that is why, through I don't plead guilty, them end up sentence me to death. But Father God does work it. That's still the end of the 12-year there, but I come out on bail. I come out on bail based on England. While the case reached to England send back the case down here and tell them so they make an error. So while they make the error now, Andre, this is why they study about Shabbat being cleared by the UTEC. If you go to UWI, where the law school is, they study about mine case. Because my case is a landmark case. Other lawyer told me them things like Mr. Churchill Nita, Mr. Bert Samuel's daughter, some other big lawyers know Shabadin period well good, but and they know the case, so I know that what I'm saying now to you and what I'm saying to the world, they study about my case at UWI, and them also study about me by the training school, the police that are leaving, that are graduating from the training school, and teach them how to not to charge a person for a crime today and go tomorrow and question them back on the same crime we charged them for yesterday, because that is where they make them error from. So that is why they study about my case within law.
So now,
yes, sir.
What did the Privy Council say about your matter now?
All right, the Privy Council now ruled that now and say them themselves now going to make a retrial happen. So them themselves going to send back the case down here. So that is our claim back now, get back this retrial now and start go to court in 2007. But by then, they transferred me from 2005, the 19th of December, from the Spanish Town death row, and they transferred me to the General Penitentiary. So I was at the General Penitentiary, so they carried me back closer to the Home Circuit Court, because they know that the retrial is going to be ready in 2007 when Hurricane Dean come in that year 2007. So that's the time when I was start going back to court on the 4th of May. That was my first appearance before the court.
So when it went to the court now, what was the new real trial? What did they say?
What did they say? All right, going to court 2007, going to court 2008, going to court 2009. You see, in 2010, when I go to court, I book a judge lady named Miss Miss McIntosh, and Miss Marva McIntosh, her husband name is Makala McIntosh. I faced Miss McIntosh in court too, and Miss McIntosh told me that, Mr. Pierce, I don't normally give people bail or what, but this case is very weak, because this case is a case that reached the Privy Council, and the Privy Council sent it back out here. So this case is very weak, but within everything, Mr. Pierce, we're going to have back a second trial. trial. That's what she told me. When the second trial started and I was going to court, it was a 10-2, so it was a unanimous verdict. So I win them 10-2. 10 juries say not guilty and 2 jury.
So in the retrial,
yes,
in the year of what, 2007?
Yeah, the retrial started back 2007.
So when did the jury?
The jury come to a verdict in 2010. 10. So while going to this another trial now in 2010 now, that's when 10 juries say not guilty and 2 juries say guilty.
So it was a 12-member jury.
So it was a 12-member jury, but 10 out of it say not guilty. So the next 10 were cussing the next 2 and we're saying to them, say, all 12 of it done decide, say, we are going to find him not guilty. So, Una say guilty. Cause it was so on that basis now, that is how I end up got bail. By this Marva McIntosh. So I was granted bail. 1 or 2 surety.
So you're granted bail. So
yeah, I was granted bail.
But if you majority of the jurors found you not guilty, shouldn't you be released?
Yes, I should be released. But what they did now, it fall under a unanimous verdict. Unanimous verdict mean there's a breaches where they were wondering and pondering now, because remember in the first trial it was all 12 jury found me guilty. Now since it reached the Privy Council High Court, which is the highest law court in the world, so when them send out to the panel of judge, because when a case is tried in England, it's a 9-panel judge try these cases, not like 1 judge. It's 9 judges sit down and they look into the matter, the one they pass around the paper to each of them have a paper.
Yeah, man, I know how the Privy Council works. You should know that I know how the Privy Council works.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly. So with all of it happening now. So
you needed everybody to vote. The 12 of them should have voted the same way for you to be released.
Yes, for me to release, but
so it became a hung jury.
There was a hung jury. That was a hung jury going on down there. So because that now there was an uproar upstairs in court. They're nice. Because the next 10 jury them now start cuss the next 2 of them now and I say, all we decide say we are gonna find Mr. Pierre not guilty based on the
evidence.
England. Yeah,
based on the ruling that came from England.
Based on the ruling that came from the High Privy Council court in Andre. So based on everything what happened now, that is how them start to study law about my case. So my case is a case that fall under enough other case now in Jamaica, it fall under it. So by the law school up UWI, my first time them
so you're saying that the school of law and everywhere use your case as an exemplary case?
Use my case, yes, Andre. The proof is there. I can call even Miss Valerie Nita, Mr. Churchill Nita, anyone.
Valerie Nita knows about your case?
Valerie Nita knows about my case. Good. Valerie Nita.
And if I should ever call Miss Nita, she will be able to verify all of the things that you say?
Yes, she will be able to verify me, she, and even Mr. Churchill Nita.
So even Churchill Nita know about your case?
Yeah, man, Churchill Nita know about my case. Good, I can give you my number now. I can give you his number now.
No, me don't need Miss Anita number, me good man.
Okay.
So I want to know now.
Yeah.
So you were 18 working?
Yeah, working with La Massa Company.
La Massa Company as a porter.
Yeah.
And the next day you're being told that you're a criminal, right?
Yes. You
got locked up?
Yes.
You were charged for the murder of a security officer.
A security officer that named Delroy Parchment.
So you were charged for the murder of Delroy Parchment?
Parchment, yes.
You're saying there is no evidence that could have linked you to the crime, but you were charged for the murder?
Yes, Andre.
And Paula Llewellyn was the prosecutor for the...
Was the prosecutor at that time, in this matter, in front of a judge named Wesley James. And Wesley James died the other day. I thought his second died.
And you're saying that Miss Llewellyn was trying to convince you to get what?
To plead guilty, to make a mitigation mitigation plea. Yes,
To make a mitigation plea.
Yes, she want me to plead guilty and said yes, it's me do the murder, and she compromise, and as I say, she gonna make me get 12 years. 12 years.
So she wanted to give you 12 years for the murder so you could be released after.
Some could release after, by the time 12 years after parole, I could get some parole. But me tell her, say, me not do no crime, so me not plead no guilty. So that is how they come together and sentence me to death.
So, and after that, it was carried to Judge Wesley, and he gave you the death penalty.
And he gave me the death sentence. And when he gave me the death sentence on the 10th of July, he looked at me and said to me, Mr. Peart, what you have to say? And I was there looking, because I don't know nothing else to say to him, because if I were going to say something to him, I would say to him, say, set me free, because I know that I'm innocent. But he done already sentenced me to death, and he knocked him one hammer like something where you use.
The gavel.
The gavel, yeah, whatever it is, yeah. So this took place in Court 1, year 2000. So at this time now, when I just get the sentence now, I am just 19 years old, but I come in custody from I were 18 years old.
So in your teens, you basically spend most of your life in prison.
Most of my lifetime, all of my teen life, like me 18, me 19, me 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, come right up at 2011, the 20th of May, I come out on bail, because what they do now, after they gave me bail now, they thought I was going to jump the case, but I go to court till the case finished. But the major thing that took place in this place is like the public defender, where someone was supposed to defending the citizens. I went there, I went to Miss Caroline Gooms, the human rights lady.
So you went to Jamaicans for Justice?
Jamaicans for Justice.
You went to
the public defender.
Who you went to the public defender?
She was Arlene Harrison, a lady that use one cigarette light one, and she of course pay bad road and I move fast.
So you're saying that Arlene Harrison was smoking? That's the person who was in the office of the public defender?
Yes, she was using one Mataran light in one, and
she was just smoking.
She was smoking, and she were behaving quite rough, like she don't want to see me. You know, when you're running somebody, it's like I say.
So you're saying the office of the public defender? Yes. Basically show you disdain and scorn.
Yes, exactly. They are doing things to run me away, so I just get so frustrated. But at that time now, while I was coming back to one from now, I was living in Montego Bay. Never did living in Kingston them time there. Because the lady that bailed me out, she was from Montego Bay. Place named Cornwall Court. Yeah, Cornwall Court in Montego Bay. So that is all, because I end up get bail out so long I did and then think that nobody know really bail out, man. And me, one day me did dead here and me just did make a link and thing and book a lady, and she was willing to help me, and she just bail me out. Because she said she know that I'm innocent. So she bailed
so
me
when you come out of prison now, when you went to the public defender and Caroline Gomes, what was the outcome of that?
Alright, when I went to there, to stage to them that we need to get a lawsuit on the table, because, you know, we just don't know that we know so we win the case. So as we were saying, we want to plan together, because they always tell us if you are trying to sue the state or trying to sue something, you have to start from the public defender. But Miss
Harrison
behaved. She behaved every time when me go there. She cuss up a lot of bad word and she smoke cigarettes, so I just get fed up and just don't go there back too much. You understand? Because every time I go achieve, and we go down to get to business and come like somebody in the bigger heads in the government officially did tell her, say, black this thing, behave this way, smoke cigarettes. You're not supposed to smoke and a cuss bad words. Me come to deal in my case because I try, because I tell you, I lost my mother, I lost my job, the amount of money I lose everything. And I'm just telling you, my mother died in 2019, still enough. But my mother was a good lady that grew me up good. We never used to go to high school, but my mother always teach me honesty, working is the best. So even though I start to school from 7th grade, I learned fridge work around a man named Mr. Henry until me that work at Moses Jamaica Limited. Spent about a year at this, and my last job with me do was KPH as a porter before I go into custody, before they take me into custody and take away my freedom. Because they know that I didn't kill nobody. Even the girl that come give evidence on me, I saw her even last week. She do here downtown. So this is a girl that named Claudette Noel, and she tell me that Shabadin, I'm so sorry. I'm said to her, I say, I forgive you because.
So even the same person who was crown witness against you.
Yes, I saw her like every other day downtown. She do here. Yeah, she do here downtown. And she told me, I told her that I forgive her, and she tell me, say sorry. And she tell
so
me
my question is,
yes.
Where do you go from here? Were you compensated by the government for the years of loss?
No, I never get to compensate it because what they do now, they use as tragedy now. They first make sure that somebody tamper with my birth paper. So they lock down my birth paper. So if I come a road, I look for my birth paper, and I know I still can't get my birth paper.
Yeah, but your birth paper is one easy thing to get. Once you get a good lawyer, the lawyer can assist you in. You don't have no family member who can tell you where your birth paper is.
Well, what really occurred then is since the other day in this year, I come across my sister. And when I come across my sister now, she's the biggest one out of the whole of us. Then give me some sheet of things. So I go to the RGD and I pay 12,000 there, and then tell me I have to wait now from 6 months to a year before I can get it. So my sister sign up some documents. My other bigger brother in sign up some documents too. So it's like it's a third party have to sign up the documents. And my sister is 10-year-old older than me, so she must have to sign up the documents. So still doesn't have a birth paper.
So because you don't have a birth paper, you can't sue the government, that's what you're saying?
No, that's not.
So I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna say this to you. You say you have access to men like Churchill Nita. And you're saying that you don't go sit down with Churchill Nita or Valerie Nita for them to help you with the case so you could sue the government and get some compensation?
But what them do now, them say the statutory of limitation has passed. The 6 year has passed because through them time they now all in Harris to them. A delay, I go there the case finished 2012. I went there.
Oh, so the statutory is that you have 6 years to sue the
limitation has passed, yes, 6 years has passed. So true, she delayed, Miss Arlene Harris, she delayed me 2012, she delayed me 2013, she delayed me 2014, right up till when she did, I don't know whenever she did stop, but I need to get fed up because she has cost so much bad word and she has smoked a cigarette and desk cock up and every time the boy shop being period are coming and so I can't bother with this boy and fling them the documents and so by me now as a young youth now.
And you're saying that this is the office of the public defender?
This is the office of the public defender. She's a brown lady with her hair kind of look curly. Big woman, big respectable woman. Because he's a man that love my mother, you know. Anybody who know me can tell us even when my mother get old, I made her clean her shit out of the tree away. The tree picnic my mother get, and me was the one that come end up there at bedside before she died in 2019 because that lady could visit me straight to prison and run for me. So Miss Arlene Henry was supposed to make a step towards the lawsuit because.
So you're saying that Arlene Harrison?
Yes, cost by more than.
No, it's not. So you're saying that for the 6 years she frustrate you, so you just stop going to the office?
She frustrate me too. Me just stop. So let me stop going to the office now. Based for now, she frustrate me. Yeah, based for now, she frustrate me. I'm telling you the truth. And when I know reason with Miss Anita one day, you know, and me a reason with another lawyer. So when me go down there, you know, me a reason with another lawyer, you know, and the lawyer look on the time, the lawyer so about wait, the case done from 2012 and based from 2012 till when me they go down there, you know, like 2020, 2019. So I think the COVID is coming, but before that the lawyer was saying to me, say the statutory of limitation has passed. So I did make it pass, Miss Arlene Harrison, as somebody did a program 100. The me I submit the statutory pass because these are youth and me help write about my case in prison. Nobody no to help me. I mean write all these letters, send them go to the lawyer. Me even write out some grounds and some points and to make the lawyer argue on them during my trial. At the privy council, that's the man asked me say if me ever go to high school, and I tell the man no. The man said to me say he's one of the most intelligent inmate ever seen in custody, leaving GP or Spanish Town. That's what the man tell me, and I'm telling you. So yeah, you understand. So even though I never finished school, I still did have a little knowledge and he and them thing about the thing, but just show them a fight with them. I give you a whole fight.
You know what I'm going to say to you, though?
Yes, Andre.
I want you to go to Miss Valerie Nita's office this week for me.
Yes.
And I'm sure if Miss Valerie Nita sees you, she will see how best she can assist you in getting the birth certificate. And I'm sure Miss Nita can give you some further legal advice.
Yes.
As to how you can go about a lawsuit. You probably can't. There must be some way in which a lawsuit can be restarted. So go and speak to Valerie Nita and find out. Because you were wrongly accused.
Yes.
You spent how many years behind bars?
Yeah, 12 years, 5 days.
12 years and 5 days. Had it not been for the Privy Council, you would not be a free man.
I would not be around if it never was for the Privy Council. I want you to listen to this because when them take you off a death row, everybody will get the sentence during 2005. So when them take you off, each somebody gets 60 years or 55 years before parole. So me would be calling 2055 me that eligible for come around. So I still would have to call about 33 more years. Meanwhile, me that done the 20th year already. So 20th year overall gone out of my life now from 1999.
So how old are you now?
Oh, I am 41 years old.
So you're 41 and at 18 your life became a misery.
Yes. Yes.
Never at the point you say you walk with your friends, go up to look at the dead man.
To look at the dead man, come back down, come sit down. Too much vehicle going. Me couldn't kill a man and sit down there to see me make police come catch me. Oh, that's some fool. So me tell you, the system, these are what the England lawyer they were looking at and I said, but hold on, oh, Mr. Pierre to do a crime and sit down there, save me, because at the same time when the man, when the same night when they take me to custody, it's the same night the man died. It's a little before they take me to custody. After. So if the man has just died and you take me to custody, you should do your relevant investigation. First thing, them don't search my house. Them don't swab my hand. If you say, alright then, you know what, in the killer man, come, we carry go to the Admiralton police station, we're going to swab your hand, because we must find some gunpowder residue. They don't search me house, they don't search nothing. They want to take my ID from me, so they take away my worker's ID from me, that Mark Lamasa, to show that I was a porter. Because I was working with the nurse and the doctor them right through.
Wow. So what do you want? So how are you coping? Have you been able to get to work?
Oh, I mean, no, I can't get no work at all because everywhere I go to look for the job, they want to employ me, but I have to have the birth paper. The birth paper could get the TRN and the NIS.
Oh, so because you can't get the TRN and the NIS, you can't get a job.
Yeah. So through the birth paper, the birth paper now and if you get the TRN and the NIS, through that nobody now really employer, you know, say we know the rules. Me now go out there go thief, because them know that me is not no criminal, me is not no thief, me have to just go and hold my own. You understand me, Andre? And that me I do from ever since me I hold my own, so wicked that's all.
So like how you're not working, how you survive these days?
How me survive these days? Well, me I tell you the real truth, it's just the mercy of God. God carry me through. I'm going to say this to you now. As I tell you, say, now and then, sometime me will be at a place and a man come call me and him say, 1-2 day work there, so I mean, we're going to mix some concrete or whatever. But apart from that, it months now. So, you know, so if you sit down at 6 months, 4 months and no work, no come, if the man didn't get no work, you can't get a little 2 day work. So that is what. So like during the little time now and then.
So how you managing the pandemic?
How I manage now the pandemic now, me